going, class? So human beings are pretty amazing, or at least we tell ourselves that. And throughout the years, we've done a lot of great inventions, but the greatest invention that human beings have ever had is actually sitting in your very own pockets, and I'm talking about this. And no, I'm not talking about the iPhone 6 that's like 2 years old. I'm actually talking about this. It's the voice inside our iPhone, the artificial intelligence, or AI. Now, the reason why this is a big problem is that most people, we don't associate AI with being a really big problem. So tonight I'm gonna hash out 3 facts. 3 facts, 2 futures coming from one big problem. So the first fact is technology and AI, they're able to learn and act without continuing human input. For example, some of you guys at your houses, you guys might have smart home things such as a thermostat where you kind of set it for the first couple of days, and then by the end of the week, you won't ever have to touch it again because it's learned and it's gonna do everything for you without you having to interact with it. Other more advanced examples is Google's self-driving car, where it's learning how to drive by itself, and Boston Dynamics, which built a robot learning to survive and is able to not get kicked down, and it's able to kind of learn how to balance itself, right? So the second fact is that everything is connected thanks to the Internet of Things, meaning that your phone, your laptops, your TVs, even your fridges, they're connected to the internet. They're connected to the cloud. And yeah, so everything's connected. The third fact is that technology and AI will replace a lot of human interactions within companies. It wasn't up until recently where humans, we ultimately made the final decision, right? But thanks to deep learning, which is fact number 1, AI can learn much faster than us. And thanks to fact number 2, how everything's connected, AI can actually work together now and to kind of team up and take on much bigger tasks. And then, so the problem is that everything in our world revolves around the natural selection. Meaning, and the problem with natural selection is the tragedy of the commons. And the tragedy of the commons states that when there's multiple agents in a limited world, we all have incentive to take more than our share, which depletes the resource and everyone loses. But humans, we found a way around that. Because humans, we're the only species to be able to think around the tragedy of the commons, because it's the way we've been brought up. It's the fact that if we don't share, then we basically lose everything, right? So here's the 2 futures. The most likely future is humanity will lose all of our jobs to the AI, and software companies to some extent, and everything will be controlled by AI. And the more kind of extreme futures, because of that, we'll lose everything, and then the militaries, because we don't have much of the resources, we'll go into the war with AI, and then AI will kind of destroy the world. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Kenny, this like the first 2/3 of the speech is a long, informative presentation about AI and potential futures. It's a descriptive of what possibilities might exist, but I don't hear a lot of evidence that supports things. There's some theory that gets tossed around and some hypothetical examples. You do have a couple of practical examples. I thought that you were starting off well with the attention device and identifying what the subject matter is, but I don't really know what your claim is. And the structure that you present is, you've got it based around these 3 facts with 2 possible outcomes and 1 particular problem. And I can kind of see that there's an attempt to build something here, but I don't know what that is in the preview. It's not until you start presenting those facts that I start to see how you're trying to put things together. But even the facts, like I said, they're a little bit underdeveloped. They depend on a couple of examples. I mean, you've got us going from these self-learning thermostats to the whole planet of human beings wiped out by an AI war. And I'm going, well, there are a few steps. Where are you? There are a few steps in this process that I think need to be proven first. And maybe it would be an interesting paper. Maybe it's a nice think piece, or potentially a science fiction film. We're going to get Skynet coming to life and all that kind of stuff. But you're just dropping in some concepts. The tragedy of commons gets dropped in as if it's something that explains everything, and it's not very well explained here in your argument. And you're finishing in a very short amount of time, so there's a lot of stuff that has to be explained to show the point that you're making. I think you've got an argument here, but it's not, you're not focusing on the argumentative part. You're focusing on the explanation of what this theory is without showing that it's likely or practical, that there's any dispute about whether or not this is going to happen. And it really seems to be like when you talked about 2 possible outcomes, I don't really think that you explained what the second possible outcome is. I guess it's we all lose our jobs and AI lives our lives for us, or we get into a war. And I'm going, okay, this is a disjunctive syllogism that we've got going on here, and at best you've developed some proof for one of the disjuncts, but not the other one. And I think that's problematic. All right, thank you.